Hey guys, Road Warrior back here again. I recently was aware, and a lot of you guys are aware, that there is vertical jigging added to the game. I got asked this several times, as well as a guy by the name of Ombre had stopped by my channel a couple days ago when I was learning my way around the ocean map. We did, much to my excitement, you guys know how I feel when I did the comparison from Fishing Planet to the Angler. It's a little different on here, but at least that they have added vertical jigging, and a big thanks to Fishing Planet on that. Now, how to do this is you want to lift up on your rod tip. You're not wanting to reel, and you guys are wanting to be below your feet, so to speak. So again, hence vertical jigging. Now, in real life, I obviously haven't fished much in the ocean. I live in the midwestern part of the United States, so I have largemouth bass available most of the times what I fish for. And I will do this with plastic worms and as well as crappie jigs. So, what's called vertical jigging might sit on the end of a dock and you're kind of just twitching that. You're not looking for a stop and go and that sort of thing because you're not actually reeling. Again, you're just not grinding it in the ground, but you're just wanting to lift up on that rod tip. And I wanted people to be aware to do this. I think you guys will probably have fun with this. It does take a little bit of practice for sure. And by no means do I have it down to a fine art. However, I was able to come through and get the sweet lips there as well as some snapper here. And I'll throw the mark up at the end, but you can kind of just see here, I'm also dropping that bell by hitting square on PlayStation. On your respective platforms, you'll have to figure out which one drops your bell. I'm sure that you guys will notice that. Again, I'm short casting and it's basically fishing below the boat, below the dock. You also might find that you're going to have to match up accordingly with your rods and reels and that sort of thing, especially your rod. And this could be in my head. However, it felt like the spinning rod itself seemed a little better, maybe because it's a little longer. But again, practice all that stuff for yourself. Find out what you're comfortable with, what you can use the best. As you can see, a nice, unique, giant, sweet lips there. Again, just reiterating here. Now, obviously, the heavier lure, the faster it'll fall. Also, it might be more difficult to keep in the actual zone where you want it as well. So again, with the bell down, you're letting it fall. Now again, if you're targeting something on the bottom, don't be afraid to just let the fish bounce off as it's sinking, because you might be going for something else on the bottom. Now, where that'll come into play, this from experience, just mess with this a little bit. If you're fishing in, let's say, 800 foot of water and there's stuff hitting it and you're trying to target something that's on the bottom, obviously let the other fish just bounce off, because it takes a long time for some of these things to fall. As you can see there, I even pulled this out just with a little bit of action again. So just lift up on the rod tip with, again, a trophy 2-spot red snapper in the event you're trying to get your lake checklist done. That is a nice way to do it. I will throw up the mark here at the end. Now, as you can note here, this is only 56 foot of water, and it's a 3 ounce. So again, that's where you guys adjust accordingly. Maybe the heavier lures, obviously the deeper the water, that sort of thing. And also, you will find that something very frustrating that I found the other day trying to fish a 900 foot of water. You might actually let that sink, and you're going to find that you'll get a shell or something, and then, boy, by the time you wait for 3 or 4 minutes for the lure to fall, and then as soon as it gets to the bottom, you get snagged. Good old lake cleaner awards, that's always fun, right? Just depends, but yeah, so be ready for those frustrating things to happen to you. But I'm extremely excited they add vertical jigging. It's another part of the game that'll be fun. And keep in mind also, you probably should go and practice a little bit when you get bored from farming, that sort of thing. You might go and try this out on some other bottom fish, or any time that whatever fish you're targeting is near the bottom. I think it's going to come in handy. This extra retrieve that we now have, is I pulled in the unique 2-spot red snapper. Very excited for that, guys. I actually did that live stream. I was having a lot of fun. So sometimes things might be boring to start, but once you work your way around it, I think this is going to be a welcomed addition to Fishing Planet. And they might even adjust it a little bit later. But it is a very, very fine line again there at the bottom. Feel free to practice that. If this does help you guys out, please feel free to leave a like. And anyway, there's my experience so far on vertical jigging here on Fishing Planet. Take care, and we'll see you guys again in the next one.